Thank you for listening to Pow Block Podcast, the flagship Nintendo podcast of Boss Rush Network. Do you need even more gaming and entertainment in your life? Head over to bossrush.net where you can find news, reviews, creators, podcasts, and more focused around the content you enjoy.
Hello everybody, welcome to Nintendo Pow Block here on Boss Rush Network. I'm your host, the enlightened, excited Eddie V. Joining me is the one, the only, the indie insider himself, Mr. Dan Murphy.
Hey Ed, how was your weekend?
My weekend was fantastic. I had a little bit of a mishap, but I will talk about that a little bit later. But it was completely awesome. Everybody, we have two special guests joining us this episode, and also shout out to our producer Gathertrad. He is in the building with us, but he is sending this one out to do some production for us. So once again, thank you, Jacob, for producing this episode. Our first special guest, though, he is a legend of Zelda lore knowledge. He is a writer and just a wonderful and resounding individual. Everybody, please welcome David Nystrom.
Yes, sir.
Hello, welcome.
Hi, how you doing?
I'm doing good. And our special guest, I had to give him two specials. He is the host of NintenDomain. They just celebrated 300 episodes, so congratulations to them. Everybody, please welcome the terrific and tremendous Trey Johnson. Hello.
Hey. NintenDomain together. This Nintendo Domain. It's Nintendo. But yeah, it's great. It's great to be here, and I wanted to ask to you is Linkle canon? What do you think? Is Linkle an actual part of the Legend of Zelda world? Have you accepted her, or is she just to the side?
Let's defer that one to David.
Yeah. Sure, why not? In some parallel multiverse universe, absolutely.
So Linkle's not in the books yet?
No, I don't have Linkle in any of my stories. I have plenty of other awesome, amazing characters, but Linkle is not one of them.
I mean, she could be.
She could be. I could work her in, just like in
time's
passing.
gonna come eventually.
Just gonna have like a blonde girl with a compass walk by with a crossbow out. Like I can have that. I can work that in.
Well, David, can you introduce yourself to the audience?
Sure. So I'm a writer over at ZeldaDungeon.net, just like the other David here at Boss Rush, which has been fun. I'm more well known for writing the Zelda novel series, The Era Without a Hero. Currently, that just last week there was a little snafu. Part 46 of that was supposed to go out on Zelda Dungeons Fan Fiction Friday, but that's actually going to be coming this Friday as a double header. It is the story that follows the time between the end of Ocarina of Time and the beginning of the Wind Waker, and it's way more than that. It's more than just like, oh, this is just some fun fan fiction. I have spent way more hours in it than I ever probably should have. I have developed everything from a tabletop RPG for it to written my own music for it. If there's some kind of attachment, if there's some kind of media that is attached to that, I've done it in some form or fashion. Outside of that, my Zelda fandom doesn't extend to just there. It is bled literally into my family in that my daughter's name is Zelda. Bless my wife for letting me do that. But other than that, I mean, I love games just generally too. I'm not only Zelda. I play Smash. I just started playing Tales of Rise. I've been playing. I just beat Metroid Dread a couple weeks ago. So I'm all over the place. And I also love horror, so scary stuff, that is just my jam. So that's me.
All right. And Trey, could you introduce yourself and also talk a little bit about NintenDomain?
Sure. I'm Trey Johnson. I am one of the hosts of NintenDomain, which is a weekly podcast where we talk about games that we've been playing and video game news and all that. And Eddie's been on the show a couple times. Also sent us a message for episode 300. Thank you so much for that. That was a lot of fun. We got a lot of audio messages from people just saying hello to us for our 300th episode, which was awesome, and it was really cool. But yeah, we talk about game releases, and we do interviews with people and have guests and all that sort of thing, and yeah, and we do it every week, and we have we're the same as you. We have a stream. We have a stream channel. We have a YouTube channel. We have all that stuff. NintenDomain. Just look it up. You'll find it. We have plenty of episodes. All that stuff. We just did. I think we just did our like top 10 games of the year and that type of thing. So, which we were talking about a little bit before we started recording, but yeah.
Yeah, we did ours.
Last
Top. Yeah, last week, and we gave Baldo Garbodor of the year for questionable content, and so Dan, and shout out to you, Jacob, too. I rewatched that little clip, and I just sat back and laughed on just how y'all went in on that game. It was just like, wow.
I forgot it existed up until that point.
It was so funny. But Dan, how was your weekend?
Mine was good. So my mom lives up in Massachusetts still, so she actually came down and visited. So we had a nice weekend together.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah.
Trey, how was your weekend?
My weekend's all right. I'm actually recovering from COVID. I shit last week, so that sucks. My voice sounds a lot better. If you listen to the most recent episode of NintenDomain podcast, I'm super gravelly. Actually, half of our show had got COVID, so John and I both had it, so we both sound super gravelly and all that stuff, and so I'm getting over that. I've been quarantining, but I did do a home test yesterday and I got negative, so that's good. But I got positive last Monday. So and then my wife got it too. So we've just been quarantining at home. So we haven't gone anywhere. And
oh man,
I had to go to Buffalo for a job, and I got COVID in Buffalo. So
Oh no,
that's what I got for going to New York to work. So it sucks, but whatever.
That's rough, man.
So yeah, I'm getting over that for the most part. Trying to work through that. But the symptoms are gone now. It was just mostly like a cold for me, like lots of drainage, lots of coughing and sore throat, and that type of thing. Almost felt like strep throat at first. Somewhat of a headache, but no fever, that type of thing. But yeah, so I'm getting through that. But I've been hanging out and playing games and stuff like that, staying at home. So
just so happy. How was your weekend, David?
Well, mine was pretty good. I took my son down to. We went down to. There's a couple of ice rinks nearby, and I took him down there to skate. 'Cause Friday night he looked at me and made me one of the most proud dads ever. He said he wanted to play hockey, and being a hockey nut, I was just overwhelmed with pride and went downstairs and told my wife, "I'm going to find the nearest arena and we're going to go." And so we went down there. We went out and had breakfast for like an early lunch Sunday morning at a place called Taste of Belgium here in the Cincinnati area, and then we went down to the rink that I used to skate at all the time when I was in college and stuff, and he got out there and he did pretty good for his only second time on ice. His first time was a couple months back around Christmas, I guess about a month ago now, over at Kings Island. We went out there one night, but he had a blast and did great out there, and so that was my Sunday. That, and then birthday party for a couple of my nephews that evening. So yeah, that was my weekend. Saturday was just lazy.
Should I hear that? My weekend, I finished Guardians of the Galaxy on Series X, but I had some like frame rate issues. Like it literally dropped to, it was at 60, and it probably dropped to about 15 frames in just minutes. And this is closest to the end of the game. Like it did a big drop, and I'm like, what the world is going on? And then like sometimes it stuttered, and I couldn't understand what was happening. because the game was clean and everything, and I haven't been playing it or anything for a bit, but like when I went in, I didn't expect it, throughout the first part of the whole game, nothing was wrong with it. It just got to like the last 3 hours of the game that it just dropped badly. Um, but Sunday, decided to watch Ghost in the Shell again for with Scarlett Johansson. And man, that movie, I don't know why people don't like it. I love that movie still. It's visually appealing. I love the lighting in that movie. I think Scarlett Johansson pulls off a great major. Like even though they Americanized it, it's just such a fun and just good movie to like watch and everything. And
Name one anime adaptation to live action that's gone over well.
Cowboy Bebop?
oof.
No, I'm kidding. I haven't
Oh.
seen it, but yeah, no, I heard people hated it. So
Yeah.
I really can't. Well, see, the Dragon Ball one was kind of fun to watch, um, but like I think I was so young that I wasn't thinking about movies in that kind of manner. I just like, oh, this is a nice fun movie, you
The
know.
Mario Brothers movie is fun, but it's not a good movie.
just wait till the new one. Let's see how
Oh.
fun that one is.
Oh,
Yeah.
The fucking
can't
Chris
wait.
Pratt movie. Oh my god.
Well, I will say the Pokemon movie, the Detective Pikachu. I think that one was a pretty good one. I really
Yeah, that one's
enjoyed
good.
that one.
I like that
That's
one.
not necessarily an anime adaptation, but
Uh,
I guess
yes.
neither was the Mario Brothers, so I fouled myself there.
well, well, everybody, that has kind of been like just some to introduce you guys to David and Trey and talk a little bit about our weekend. But you know what time it is? Snacktendo. Trey, what have you been snacking on?
Well, I have no. You mean like what games I've been playing lately?
No, your snacks, food.
Oh, I would say I don't have any snacks here.
Oh no, you didn't snack over the weekend?
No, I actually I had some cheese. I had some cheese sticks earlier, so that counts.
Yes.
Some with some Swiss cheese sticks and some Gouda sticks from Aldi, which are tasty.
Yes.
Sounds good.
David, what have you been snacking on?
We've been having a lot of popcorn lately. We ended up caving after weeks of trying to get like the seasoning that you can put on popcorn when you make it, like the white cheddar stuff. For whatever reason, we can't get it at the store. We've gone to Walmart, Kroger, like all the stores around us, and they're just all sold out. It's gone. So we finally caved and just went out and bought some of the bags of the Smart Food popcorn that has the white cheddar flavoring on it.
Yeah.
Eat that. Tonight I'm finishing off the last of some Christmas candy. One of these Ferrero Rocher giant chocolate ornaments with hazelnut in it.
Nice.
So that's delicious. But other than that, I mean, unless you want me to start going into beers that I've had lately.
No.
I want to hear about the beers.
Oh, okay.
I'm drinking White Claw just because the iced tea White Claws have like no sugar in them, which works for me for being diabetic. But I've also had some good beers as well.
Hey, cheers to the diabetics in the house.
You are too? Cheers.
I am too.
Yeah, just happened to me the beginning of 2020. So was it 2020 or maybe it's 2021? Whatever.
Yeah, I was diagnosed at the week before I turned 25, and 4 days before my son was born. It was a heck of a week.
Yeah, that's a lot. That's a lot to do. That's a lot at once there. Yeah, I mean I've had like a year to get used to it. It's not that bad, you just gotta
Yeah.
just gotta look
Yeah.
at stuff and cut some shit out and all that.
What about you, Dan? What have you been snacking on?
Nothing really. I think last week we talked about all those like cookies we got. So those things have just been sitting in our living room. I mean, in our kitchen, just working away, chipping away at it. So nothing new because I really just don't want to keep adding on to the sweets with all those cookies in my house.
Oh, okay. Well, definitely for me. Last week I told you guys that I had the Jelly Bean gummies, and I tried the original ones. I didn't try my sour ones yet, because I was just kind of see how I was going to get the taste. They're really good. I really do enjoy them. They kind of remind me of the fruit slices, but without the sugar. all coated all around them. So like really easy to bite into and just like pull away. You can pretty much probably end up eating the whole bag within minutes. Like you don't even realize, because the bag is kind of tall, but it's not like width wise, it's not kind of that long or that big. But it's really good. I do recommend if you see it in stores to give it a try. I am going to try the sour ones this week. Um, but yeah, that's what I had. And then my mom made some chili. Now, there are times that I'm going to say something is top tier, something is like just really good or great. Her chili was anointing, like literally anointing it. It's the kind of chili that I had a bowl that made me want to sit and have a talk with God to be like, how, because it was, oh man, she had this the certain kind of Italian beef that we only could get at the certain meat store. She had the sausage, she had the beans, and she just had this some tomatoes and stuff, but she slow cooked everything for like 8 hours, and just all the juices and everything just tasted so, because it wasn't like ground beef in it. No, this was like some real good Italian sausage. She just everything collided, and I was just like, I wish I had some rice or some cornbread. But when I was eating it at work, because I had to take it to go, by the time I was getting ready to go to work, it was done cooking. So I got a bowl and went on to work. Man, I ate that and it was just like, oh, this is heavenly. This God touched her hands to make this. I was just, and we got a whole big. I was just like, we got some more downstairs. I'm just like, yeah, this is on a good day when it's nice, windy, and cold. It will heat you right up. So her chili anointed. That's all I can say. You guys gonna have a meal someday that's gonna be so good that you're gonna be say, "Who? This is heavenly." No, now. Now.
I've been there.
Just taste it. Just say like, "This is anointed," and then continue the meal.
Yep.
So, well, everybody, we're gonna get into game fact events, and our producer Jacob has the game fact events. So, Jacob, let us know what you got, man.
Yeah, and so real quick, Trey, I've something in your wall has caught my eye. For those of you who aren't checking out our YouTube series, please check it out. Check us out on YouTube. Watch the video of the podcast. Is that a Yoshi head on a Han Solo background behind you?
Over your shoulder.
Oh, you mean the like over here?
Yes,
right
yeah.
That's a Star Wars calendar that my mom got me for Christmas, and I had nowhere to put it in here because I already got a Totoro calendar for the other room, so I kind of just like stuck it in the middle of my Nintendo Power wall here. So it's just it's Han Solo like in the middle of a bunch of Nintendo Powers.
Okay,
is what is over there.
Okay,
it's the picture's weird. It has like his head and then like a blue circle and then the rebel symbol and all that. So
okay, because the blue circle very much makes it look like Yoshi's nose, like his bulbous nose. And I thought you like plastered a Yoshi head on Han Solo's body.
I could do that. That's an idea. I should do that actually.
Okay.
Yoshi shot first.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well,
be an idea there. I mean, it does. Yeah. I guess from looking at it back there, it looks like it. So
yeah. It's similar to that vein. I've been thinking a lot about cameos lately, and also about Kirby because we got some hot new trailers for Kirby and the Forgotten Land. And that got me thinking about, like, more importantly, about what Nintendo series has had the most cameos in it. And while unfortunately that amount of research was a little bit too long for me, I did want to point out the fact that Kirby has 14 different Nintendo series games cameoed in one game, which is Kirby Ultra Superstar Ultra, I think is the name of it, for the DS, where it features in the Great Cave Offensive, something that everybody knows about. It became an awesome Super Smash Brothers stage. Well, love it or hate it, I guess. It's super big. Some people don't like that. But like I said, it features 14 different Nintendo series, including the Triforce from Legend of Zelda, Kong's Barrels from Donkey Kong, a golden watering can from Animal Crossing, Mr. Saturn from Earthbound, the Falcon from Fire Emblem, a Koopa Shell from Mario, Captain Falcon's helmet from F-Zero, the Screw Attack from Metroid, just to list a few of them. But it just the idea that like that many little things got into a single game that wasn't Smash Brothers is super cool to me. I hope that we get a lot more because we used to, right? Like in the SNES days, we got a lot more kind of crossing of worlds, and I hope that we start to see
Mario RPG.
Yeah, that's the big one. The sleeping in the bed.
Yeah, I missed that stuff. Like, well, yeah, like seeing like Link and Samus like in the different inns and stuff like that.
Ocarina of Time, where you look through the window and see the Mario pictures in the castle.
Yeah. We don't get a whole lot of that, and so I'm hoping there's going to be more of that coming.
They could put some weird Star Fox shit in Bayonetta 3, right? Like they did with Bayonetta 2, where where she's just on an R-wing for like no reason, like in the middle of that game. So you could make that happen in the third one.
Fox, Samus, and Captain Falcon, just give me those three in one game somehow, because that only makes sense.
Yeah, they need to blend them all together. What they kind of did with what Star Fox Command on DS, where you had that ending where like Star Fox becomes an F-Zero racer, was like one of the 12 endings. So
nice.
So they brought those two together. But yeah, I always wanted to have like a Nintendo sci-fi thing that just brought all of that stuff together. Like
it just makes sense. Like, why don't they do it? Just do it. You can bring back F-Zero. You can give Star Fox a decent game. You can just ride the awesome wave that is Metroid. Just do it. Do it.
We have another off year, so we'll see something in the future. I'm just gonna say that. But everybody, you know what time it is. It's Faminews. Dan, take it away.
All right. So we'll start off with the games releasing this week that, like we usually always do. Coming out today, I don't know if it's out yet or not, but Shadow Man Remastered. It's a 3D action horror game from the N64 PS1 era, and it's $19.99 on the eShop. Ed, I feel like you must have played Shadow Man, did you?
Yeah, I remember it, but I did not play it because I think this was Play. Yes, it is. Yeah, it is available for on the eShop right now, Dan.
Yeah, so that one got a facelift. Guild of Ascension. Oh, go ahead.
I was gonna say I played it. If you wanna know about Shadow Man.
Oh yeah, let's hear about it. Did you like it?
Oh, I played the shit out of Shadow Man in college. Like I love that game. It was I played it all the way to the end. Interestingly, I even had I had a friend of a friend who bought a wrestling ring, like a professional wrestling ring, and
Okay.
I did professional wrestling for like a month or so, and I was my wrestling name was called Legion after the villain from Shadow Man.
Oh, no kidding.
So that game influenced me that much to where I had like this demonic character called Legion that I wrestled as, because that ended up being the villain from Shadow Man. But yeah, no, I love the shit out of that game. It was really cool. It came out. It actually came out for Dreamcast as well that year, like around that time. So it's a Dreamcast game even. Yeah, it was a 64, PlayStation, and Dreamcast. I played it on 64, and I actually tried playing it again not that long ago to do like a Halloween stream, but I got lost. It really needs maps, but I'm really excited to play it again. I actually bought it already. It's out today. I actually thought it was coming out on Tuesday, but it came out today, so that's awesome. So I'll be playing it later tonight. Maybe I'll stream it.
You'll have to let us know how it is.
But yeah, no, it's cool. I mean, they basically, it looks the same as the 64 one, but there's a bunch of options from what I've seen because they have like a breakdown, a Digital Foundry breakdown, where there's like HD, there's like a HD, whatever you call it, you can change like the aliasing and a bunch. They give you a lot of options of what you want to do with it. If you want to play it as the old game or if you want to add stuff. And I'm definitely excited about playing it with dual analog because you couldn't do that in the original one. So
cool.
But it's definitely worth a look if anybody. And it was based on a comic book also, which was cool. Like I read some of that comic too back when I was in high school because I was into that shit. But yeah, it's a great game.
Sweet. Yeah, and then on Wednesday we got Guild of Ascension coming out. This is more my speed, a 3D tactical RPG with roguelike elements. That one's $16.99. RPG Golf Legends, that comes out on Thursday. It's an action RPG with golf in it. Basically, the story of that is there's an evil doing that plugged all the golf holes in the world, so you have to go around on an adventure defeating enemies and playing golf. So that's $29.99, and it's on sale for $23.99. And then we got Windjammers 2 on Thursday as well. That's a sequel to the original. Any of you guys play Windjammers?
I played
A little bit. I played a little bit on the Neo Geo in arcade.
Yeah. I remember it back then. I'm interested to see if this will be fun and play it online. And then this one I thought was kind of funny is The Company Man. It's coming out on Thursday. This is another indie game. It's a classic action platformer where you play as the average salaryman named Jim, probably Jim from The Office. Hit your crazy coworkers with the keyboard, shoot your evil bosses with emails, and buff up with coffee beans at the Good Water Company. Survive the struggles of working life and fulfill your lifelong quest to be CEO. It's $19.99, and if you get it today, it's on sale for $17.99. So those are all the games coming out this week. I know one of us is getting Shadow Man. You guys getting any of these other games?
I might definitely check out Shadow Man. Being a horror junkie, that's sounds like something my wife and I might get a good kick out of.
Nice.
It's definitely got a lot. I mean, I've talked about this before on other podcasts, but do you ever play Doom 64? I'm sure you played that game, right?
I
Yeah,
have.
a couple of times, yeah.
It's like I think it's one of the best Doom games. Definitely one of the best 64 games. But it kind of reminds me of like that sort of style of horror on Switch or on 64, with like the weird background sounds and
Sure.
everything's kind of dark and it's cool. It's a real interesting game. I was definitely interested in that golf game for sure, the action RPG golf game, because I'm a sucker for golf games.
Mhm.
And
Sounds
also
like-
that
Oh, the golf game sounds like Caddyshack, the game.
it's almost like it's like golf is it's like golf is outlawed, so
Right.
it's almost like Footloose, the golf game or something, where you have to
I'll probably be picking up RPG
golf
Golf
illegal.
Legends.
the one where you're the worker also looks kind of funny
The
because
Company Man.
if you look at like the picture of it, he's like holding a sword like Cloud, but the sword is like a keyboard. It's like he's hitting people with, and I thought that was hilarious.
Yeah.
The
So
Company.
it's like the big JRPG sword with the keyboard in the middle, and I was like, that's cool.
Yeah, the Company Man, I'm definitely looking forward to. I'll have to check out Guild of Ascension just to see how it is. Shadow Man, I probably will pick up. Windjammers 2, I think I'm going to skip for a bit. I'm going to wait for you, Dan. If I get the okay from you, then I'll pick it up. And then RPG Golf Legends. If it's wacky enough that it's gonna make me laugh, then I'll be picking that one up too. But the Company Man,
you gotta watch the trailer. You'll laugh your ass off at the trailer. It's so ridiculous. RPG Golf Legends.
all right.
All right, cool. So let's move on. First news topic is we're really doing a lot of trailers for this news segment, but Kirby, like Jacob mentioned, Kirby and the Forgotten Land dropped a new in-depth trailer, and it's releasing on March 25th, 22. That comes as a surprise to a lot of people. It seems like a little sooner than we expected. The trailer reveals the new Ranger and Drill copy abilities, as well as the familiar Sword and Ice copy abilities. There's even co-op in the new game. Additionally, the file size is 5.8 gigabytes, which is similar to Link's Awakening. So, guys, did you watch the trailer? What's your take on the game? And are you a little bit nervous about the file size for the game? David, why don't you kick it off?
I'm not nervous about the file size of the game, and this seems like the perfect game that I want to pick up and play with my son. My son, from what I've seen of this Kirby game, it reminds me of Super Mario Odyssey, mixed with a little bit of just that Kirby magic, obviously. But this seems like a game that he's gonna love. Like his favorite games are Breath of the Wild, Odyssey, and Yoshi's Crafted World. Like these are his games. Like so when I saw this coming out, I'm like, he's gonna love this game. So as long as he can stay ungrounded long enough,
This
Yeah.
feels like all those games combined into one too, which is
It-
funny.
It really does. So like I'm gonna be like, yeah, we're gonna pick this up, and it's gonna be one that either he and I play through together, or he and mommy play it through together. Like somehow it's just gonna be one of those that's it's gonna be like, here, play this game. You're gonna love it. You laugh at Paper Mario when he jumps, and you're gonna love this. So
Yeah, I think it looks really cool. Like, do you think that as we were talking about, having all the Nintendo sci-fi like come together, do you think Kirby like belongs in that because Kirby is now kind of in the post-apocalyptic world in this new game? Like, can Kirby hang with Star Fox and F-Zero and all those guys?
Yeah.
Kirby is an eldritch god. He can do whatever he wants, and I just
Yeah, I feel like Kirby kind of has that prestige as like a Nintendo franchise. Like, even though I don't think it's like the most popular, but when you think of like the most popular, or you ask somebody, hey, what do you think of when you think of Nintendo? It's always like Mario, Kirby, Zelda, even if they don't play Kirby. But I really kind of liked I liked what I saw in the trailer. I don't think this game is for me, but it looks pretty cool. It looks kind of just like, an Odyssey style game where you're capturing your abilities and you got a little bit of an open world. So I'm going to wait to see what everybody else thinks before I get it. What about you, Ed?
I'm already buying it. Already planning on buying it. I'm getting it. It gives me that Super Mario Sunshine feel to it. I love the artwork. I can't wait for the abilities. This game is going to make me laugh because there looks like there's some comedic cutscenes and things that's going to be going on, and I cannot wait to just dive in and see what powers it is. And knowing me, this game is gonna be like, yeah, to get everything to see the truth in it, you gotta collect everything. I'm probably gonna go in and doing 100%. If they show me a status bar of things that I need to collect, I'm going to just be spending hours getting this game. Now, the only problem that I have is that if my worry is if this game releases a week before Advance Wars Reboot Camp 1 and 2, I'm going to be in trouble because
I think it is, isn't it? Like, because Advance Wars is in April and Kirby's 25th, right? Is the release?
well, I guess the leak for Advance Wars has been in April. I think the eShop is even showing April, but it hasn't gotten a date yet. So that's why I'm just like, if it's like literally like 2 weeks, because my birthday is gonna be like 2 weeks after Kirby comes out, and if Advance Wars drop that Friday when I'm still working on Kirby, a lot of people might not see me for those next 3 days because I'm trying to work on those games. But definitely on the 25th, I'm getting this game. March seems like it's going to be a hot month for Nintendo. After the big games come out in February, because we got another game coming. Because we got
What's the big games in February?
Triangle. Well, for February it's Dying Light 2, Elden Ring, and Horizon Zero Dawn. There's another one.
Oh, gotcha.
But Triangle Strategy comes out in March also.
I thought that was April.
No,
Nope.
it's in March.
It's March.
Beginning of March.
That's great.
So
Nice.
And don't forget the Chocobo racing game comes out on the 10th of March also, which I'm pretty excited about.
Which
Yeah.
I actually might get.
I think it looks cool. I'm into it.
Yeah, so Triangle Strategy, I got to get in because like then I know you're gonna have it, and I'll be like, okay, we need to talk. Where you at?
That's
What
a day
strategy?
one purchase for me.
Yeah, so I got to get ready for that and everything. But on the 25th, it's definitely a must have for me. I'm definitely day one purchase.
I think the big thing for Kirby, I'm afraid of, I just don't want it to be too short. Like fucking was it Star Allies was like so short. Like I beat it in one sitting. Like I was really upset. I know they added stuff later to it, but it was too easy and it was too short. Like I beat it in an hour. It's like,
Oh wow, is it really that quick?
it was really quick. Yeah, I streamed it and I beat it while I was streaming it. Like I
Wow.
played through the whole thing. And it took
Maybe
me, like,
I'll play it now.
hours. So I was like so disappointed because I paid like full price for it, and I'm like, what? Because I like a lot of the Kirby games, but I just felt like it was just way too. It was just over and done with, and also you had like the 4 people with the computer that were helping you, so it made it even easier, and it was just kind of like over and done with so quickly.
And you can't toggle that off.
I mean, it's part of the
co-op.
game.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, the Star Allies is the whole point of the game, is that you can make people like part of your team and all that stuff. So it's kind of
Gotcha.
the main thing. So yeah, it's like.
Yeah, and like Link's Awakening is basically a Game Boy game, and it's going to be the same file size as the Kirby game. So that kind of, I do think that is kind of like something to keep an eye on, because it could be a very short game as well.
I mean, as long as it's filled out, because I mean, to me, Link's Awakening is one of my all-time favorite games. Like that is the one of so every year at Zelda Dungeon, all the staff, all the writers do like a ranking of all their top Zelda games. First year that was number 3 for me, and ever since then I bumped it down one space, so it's been number 4 on my all-time list. Like it's
a top 3 game for me too. I'm just saying it's a 10 to 15 hour game.
Right.
Yeah.
I'm fine with that. I just don't want it to be beaten in one sitting. It always
right.
Yeah.
Cool. All right. Well, next up we have another trailer, and this one we got a new look to the Pokemon Legends Arceus, or is it? Did they say Arceus?
Arceus.
I think they did. Yeah.
Arceus, yeah.
The 13-minute trailer explains several aspects of the game, including noble Pokemon, how to interact with capturing wild Pokemon, character customization, and more. We still don't know a whole lot about the game. Even with that 13-minute trailer. So guys, I don't know if you're Pokemon fans, does this catch your eye? And is there anything else you're expecting from it? Ed, what do you think?
It caught my eye. I have no worries about this game. I love the fact that they're keeping some stuff ambiguous, that we got to go in and find out what it is, because that makes exploring the game better. Because you get to be able to reveal stuff and find out things for the first time and be able to share it with friends. I kind of do like the direction that they're going in. I enjoyed the trailer on like the battle system. I definitely enjoyed the other trailer where Snorlax got his red eyes and he's chasing you. And like that was so quickly a meme, because someone said me chasing my kids to go to bed. And I was just like, this is funny. I'm so excited that this world is going to be just very something explorative in finding. I did love that 13-minute breakdown that they did, like on when they see you, if they got like get enraged and stuff, you got to handle the situation. And sometimes if you have to battle them, because if you throw your Pokeballs at them trying to get them, they're gonna swat it away. So I like that kind of AI, that they put in, that the Pokemon are kind of smart and stuff, to be like, no, you're not gonna get me. I'm going to attack you. You're gonna fight me. So be ready and be prepared. So I can't wait for this game. I can't wait to see what else this game has to offer. And I can't wait to customize my character. I'm really excited about doing that.
Nice. Just a quick shout out to the chat. They've been kind of talking a lot about the Kirby game. Seamus the Kilted Gamer, he tells us that his favorite Kirby game is a tie between Nintendo's Kirby Adventure and Kirby Dream Land 2 for the Game Boy. Ristre, thanks again for coming to the chat. Dreamland was one of my first games on original Game Boy as a little kid. Special place in my heart. Kirby's Epic Yarn was just amazing too.
I love Epic Yarn. Oh.
Yep. It's fun.
Yeah. So yeah, it looks like there's a lot going on about Kirby, and some people are a little iffy about Pokemon, but we'll see when it comes out. Go ahead, guys. Sorry about that.
Oh, that's okay. I just wanted to I think it looks cool and I'm into it, but there seems to be a lot of discourse on the internet about the graphics. Like people.
Nobody hates Pokemon more than Pokemon fans. Let's just put that out there.
I mean, I'm just saying, what do you think about the graphics? Like, for me, it really doesn't bother me because I don't care. I mean, I don't care what a game looks like, but I guess people are like, oh, it looks too simple or it looks too whatever. Like, I don't know. What do you think from what you saw?
I don't have any issue with the graphics. I mean, at this point, you should kind of expect what you see from it. Like, do you want the Pokemon to be more realistic? Do you need blades of grass? Like, what's happening here? I don't get it.
Well,
I think
Yeah, me
I
either.
think I think Pokemon it has its own art style, and it's very clean. And I think the cleanliness of their art style is going to last for years. You know, when we go back and we look at it, maybe 10 or 20 years from now, we'll still be like, man, that really looked like an amazing game because of the art style choices that they decided to use. And sometimes it is a budget thing, but I love it. I have no problem with it. I love that it's just clean
Is
and
this
nice
done
to
by
look at.
Game Freak,
No, the Pokemon Company.
the Pokemon company?
The Arceus? Yeah,
Yeah.
I don't. Well, I know that the Brilliant Diamond, Shining Pearl, that was from a different company. It wasn't directly from Game Freak, but yeah, I don't know.
Because like Game Freak they're a small studio, you know, they're like 180, 200 people. So,
Mhm.
you know, the fact that they actually make these games look as good as they do with like the little resources they have in the short amount of time, I think it's pretty impressive. So,
well,
They did Timbo the elephant, right?
yeah, it looks like Legends Arceus is Game Freak as well.
Okay.
12-year-old me that was angry at the Wind Waker for looking, cartoonish, is angry.
Yeah, and then when
31-year-old
I
me
played
is,
it, it blew my
yeah,
mind.
31-year-old me is saying, "Sit down,
But
please.
you learned, yeah.
Shut up."
I mean, I've been excited about it since I first heard about it because I just like that they're changing it up. You know, like there is kind of like some sameness to all the to Pokemon games, and I want something a little bit different. And I like how they changed the battle now, where now you can like have your Pokemon fight for a little bit, but only for so long, and then you have to kind of fight them as yourself walking around in the game. Like there's some cool ideas there, and I really like the exploration. I love any game where you can fly around in an open world or pseudo open world or whatever. So that's great. And that shark thing, the fish that like lives off the death of other fish, that's awesome. Like
Yeah.
that's super metal. Like if you've if you read up on that, on like the reason like the fish thing that you swim around in is like living off of the deaths of these other fish that it's eaten. I'm like that's cool. Like I didn't know they were getting so dark there, but I'm into it. Yeah, I'm 100% on this game.
Yeah, and I heard rumors that it's going to be more like Monster Hunter style versus like a full open world like Breath of the Wild, where you kind of go to your areas and able to explore around and everything, and
Yeah.
then come back to a hub. But again, you know, we don't know enough because that trailer didn't show us a lot. But anything else on this song, guys, or should we move on to the next?
I can't wait to collect the new Pokemon. That's Snowlift. I think that's it. That's the one. He's like the Growlithe, but he has a little snow cover his eyes. When
Oh,
they
nice.
when they showed it, man, the artwork and the plushies that came out of just that direct or that trailer when they first showed it was like quick. So I'm expecting a lot of people to be doing a lot of artwork and plushies from this game.
Nice. So next story, we're sticking on the topic of Pokemon. So LAPD officers are fired for catching Pokemon instead of crooks. Court documents had revealed details of a story of two LAPD officers who were fired from the force back in 2017 for playing Pokemon Go on duty while ignoring calls for backup in a near robbery in progress. As reported by Vice, officers Louis Lozano and Eric Mitchell, who had just had their appeal for reinstatement denied by a California judge, were in the vicinity of an ongoing robbery at Macy's in Crenshaw when they received urgent calls from colleagues to provide support. Instead, the pair relocated from the area of the crime in order to hunt down a Snorlax, as well as a rare Togetic, Togetic, in Niantic smashed game Pokemon Go. So that's a really funny story. I never played Pokemon Go. I guess it's pretty addicting. What do you guys think of that?
Wait, you didn't hold on. You didn't play Pokemon Go like at all? Like you didn't never touched it like even for a second?
No,
No.
never downloaded it.
Right.
Never
I mean,
played it.
Same.
I mean, I'll say I don't know. I figured it was free. I figured everybody at least like tried it for a second. Like I didn't get into it, but I tried it at least. I'm surprised you didn't even like just just take a look. And
Yeah,
Once
never
I caught
even
my dog,
downloaded
that
it.
was good.
Yeah.
I'm just not. Pokemon doesn't do it for me. You know what I mean? I played Red and Blue when I was a kid. I actually recently tried Brilliant Diamond and I couldn't get into it. But yeah, Pokemon's never done it for me. I'm not a big collector. I don't have any attachment to the Pokemon themselves, so yeah, it wasn't for me.
sure.
Well, before we get on, I want to shout out LaRon Dawkins, host of Crossroads. He actually wrote this article for Boss Rush Network, so you guys can go to bossrush.net and check out his article about the story. He did a fantastic job reporting this. I read this story and fell out laughing because I'm just like, how in the world do you not only lie to everybody, you got your phone and to go catch a Snorlax, while a crime is happening. Like, it could have been something serious, and y'all trying to get the Sleepy Time monster and everything. And I have a feeling that they're probably upset, and I think they're still playing Pokemon Go right now while they don't have no job.
I feel like this was like ripped from the script of Reno 911 or something. that was my thought. I'm like, what in just
Man, that was pretty funny though.
I mean, Snorlax is cool. This is always one of my favorite Pokemon. So I mean,
At the end of the day, is a Snorlax worth it? Maybe.
distracted, I don't know.
And then our last story is Awesome Games Done Quick. They raised $3.4 million to the Prevent Cancer Foundation at its annual video game speedrunning event. Awesome Games Done Quick, the most money ever raised at a single game event. The organization holds 2 flagship speedrunning events for charity every year. And it looks like this is the first time the fastest an organization has reached $1 million in donations, and they keep just getting bigger and bigger every year. Guys, did you watch any Awesome Games Done Quick? I know I watched a couple of them. Newer games that I wanted to see them do for the first time. What'd you guys think?
Was this part of the Bible Adventure one that they did?
I'm not sure.
Oh, I wonder if that's the other one. I didn't really actually get to watch this one, because I kind of was just like at work and forgot when it was showing and stuff and everything. But like, that's congratulations to them. But yeah, I just didn't watch it.
Yeah, I watched them do a stream at Chicory, which was really, really fun because I had just finished that game. And if anybody who's been listening to the podcast or on my Twitter, they know I unapologetically love Chicory. So it was cool to watch him stream the game. And with him on the stream was the developer of Chicory. And he was kind of just blown away at how this guy found glitches and bugs and blew through this game in 35 minutes. So it was really cool, like having the insight of the developer talking to him during the game and just seeing how supportive they are and how much money they raise. So just an awesome charity.
That's cool. That's really great.
All right, guys. Well, that's it for the news. Ed, we'll kick it back to you.
All right, everybody, it's time for Doc Mode. Are Nintendo games designed for the PC community? As we see titles like God of War and Forza Horizon 5 become available on PCs, Nintendo has reluctantly refused to join that area of gaming. Is it because of business or making money there? Communities mining their games? Or is it something we cannot fathom yet? You ready to leap back, agents? Let's go! So we're going to discuss Nintendo games not being on PC, not being on Steam, Epic Games Store. What are your thoughts? Because a lot of people have been talking about, there's been now a PC war with Sony and Microsoft that people have been talking about games being on that platform, like with God of War and Halo Infinite and everything. And while this discourse of discussion is coming up, everybody is some people feel like it's unfair that people are making this argument for Sony and Microsoft, but Nintendo, because who they are and not having their games on PC, people feel like they could do anything that they want and not get no backlash or no one discuss about it. But I kind of want to ask you guys, like the way that Nintendo designed their games and what they put out, do you think it is something that would fit the PC community? I want to start with you, Dan.
So I think, I don't know, we'll never see Nintendo games on PC ever. I think the reason is that they're primarily a console company. You look at the consoles they make, the Switch, the Wii, even Wii U to a certain degree, and they make these games to sell their consoles, right?
Yes.
So it's like they make Breath of the Wild a certain way because you want to be able to take it on the go for Switch. They made Wii Bowling a game that you use your Wiimote for just to sell their Wii. So I think at the end of the day, Nintendo wants to sell their consoles versus their software, and they make their software to sell their consoles.
For sure, yeah. No, I completely agree. I mean, Nintendo wants control also. They want everything on their own system. Like
Right.
they don't want there was, I don't know if you remember back in the day when they were making less money and people like around the GameCube times when they thought Microsoft would buy or whatever, they were basically saying like, if we don't make games for our own systems, we aren't making games. So like, you know, that's pretty much their mentality there. It's like, if we don't make it for our stuff, then we're not making it. Even though I guess, you know, they got into the mobile market, but the reason they got into the mobile market was just to try to get more people to buy their systems, to buy their consoles and all that stuff. And yeah, they're stupid about like everything has to have a gimmick or a quirk or whatever. So it always has to be like, you know, it has to be on their system that they control. And I think that's fine. I don't think they need to be on PC.
Right.
What about you, David?
I think we'll never see it on PC legally.
Yeah.
I have seen emulations of Breath of the Wild, and it's beautiful. I have seen emulations of like Ocarina of Time being like rebuilt in the Unreal Engine and things like that, and they are just absolutely gorgeous. But at the end of the day, I think Nintendo they're not worried about that. Their main focus is games that are fun and bringing people together. And you know, you can have a bunch of people play a game on PC together. You can't have a family huddled around the PC. Or I mean, you could, but their thinking is they want that couch feeling. They want to bring families together in the living room, on the couch, on the big screen, playing family fun adventures. You know, as much as I want to see Zelda get dark, it'll never go to the dark that I think. You know, you'll never see Link run into a battle and chop a moblin's head off with blood spray across his face. That's never going to happen. But the idea is from Nintendo is they want to make the family fun adventure and have that be able to go with the Switch, like you were saying, Dan. You know, to be able to pick up and just go and play, run across Hyrule Field for an hour and be done, or while you're on your train ride into work or whatever. You know, it's PC isn't the vector or isn't the medium for Nintendo to express what they want out of their company, and that's fine. I don't think we need to have it on there. I think the people who really want it are going to find ways to do it, and it's going to look beautiful, and it's going to blow some of our minds away. But at the end of the day, Nintendo is never going to be the one to make that step forward to say, this is what we want out of these games, because it's not even in their, if you're looking at a Venn diagram, that's way over on the right side versus PC gamers, what they want over on the left side. They overlap in these parts of, they want great games to play, and that's it.
I think yeah, we won't see their games on PC. I think Metroid Dread is a perfect example. When the game came out, like 2 or 3 days after the game came out, it was already emulated on PC. And the people who went out was telling people to go support this game, don't emulate it. It caused a big upset. And I think if Nintendo did put their games on PC, a lot of people are going to be stealing their assets to make their own games. and everything. So it's just like the work that Nintendo and their developers have done. They don't want to put it on PC just to make, money or business moves and stuff. Because I agree with you all. Like, this is a family fun kind of company. Like, they want to be in control of their content and everything. If something came out and some fans just took their assets and made it, Nintendo could get blamed for that because they're not gonna look at the developers or the person who made that game on PC for stolen assets. They're gonna look at Nintendo and be like, "You released this on PC," and Nintendo gonna be like, "No, we don't," and everything. I think that's why they try to, put a stop to people putting their fair man games and stuff on PC because Nintendo, that's of course that's stolen property and IP. But like,
Oh, I mean,
I,
as somebody that creates Nintendo-based content in the in fan fiction, I am always waiting for that day when because I have things out there. I'm in the process of building a Patreon that I want to launch to put out side stories and things like that and exclusive content. I'm waiting for that day that I get that C&D letter, and I know there's other content creators out there who wait for that too, because Nintendo is very protective of their assets, and they have the right to be to some degree. I think when you put an idea out there, people are going to take it. They're going to interpret it. They're going to make iterations of it. That's the evolution of art. But to some extent, still it comes down to, Nintendo owns these things. They own these characters. And when you put it out on PC, you are opening that up for a lot more interpretation, a lot more freedom to take an idea, or not, I guess not freedom, but the idea for almost piracy to take an idea and then turn it into something else. I mean, there's corners of the internet that we don't need to go into where Nintendo content does exist, but Nintendo is not the one that's being hounded for that. In reality, I don't know where I could go with that beyond that, but
well, I kind of feel like with I think it's going to take away from Nintendo's innovation of games. They create the hardware so they could try to innovate the creative ideas for their games. That's why we got the Wii, we got the Wii U, even with the Super Nintendo and everything, and with the Nintendo 64. Like a lot of their consoles and some of their handhelds, they try to do something different with the controllers. They try to be innovative on you could design games in this kind of manner and be able to express your ideas and everything, because the thing about it is like if Nintendo, they don't want to share their business with Valve, they don't want to share their business with Epic, because the thing about it is that why they're going to get cheated out, because it's just like here's a $60 game on Switch, but then a humble bundle comes on Steam and those same games are now probably about $4 each. They're going to be like, well, people are going to buy more. Yeah, we sell more copies, but everybody's not going to pay the $60 on Steam or Epic. They're going to wait for the cheap deal.
Well, and how much of that too is also just different culture, Japanese culture versus Western culture. They are different. In today's global society, things are blending more. You're getting more crossover, but there are still some very unique Japanese elements, especially in Nintendo, that you don't see necessarily in Sony or Microsoft or Sega or any other developer. That Nintendo is very unique in that they have a lot of those Japanese philosophies still driving, traditional Japanese philosophies still driving everything that they do. And it's only just now that we're starting to see that sort of open up with the evolution of games that they've done. Like Breath of the Wild was, I'd say, the first real step in seeing that change. Metroid Dread has definitely opened up to, wow, okay, this is the game that a lot of people were just waiting for.
Yeah, I think one funny thing to think about is Nintendo always seems like 5 steps behind the times with everything. I mean, we don't even have Bluetooth on our Switch. So
yes, we do, don't we? Didn't we just get that?
Well, we just got it. We just got it. That's right.
All the controllers use Bluetooth, but
I meant to say, like, we can't really, we can't have We don't have voice chat with like
There you
Smash Brothers or anything like that. That's kind of where I was
sure.
going with it.
Yeah,
Sorry.
yeah.
I don't know if I want that.
Yeah, it'd be nice, like, with your friends in an arena or something. You know what I mean?
Oh, you don't use the app, man. You don't use that Nintendo app.
And that app is horrible.
I'm kidding. Don't use that app. No, I mean, yeah, it's just I think like most of us Nintendo fans have just like, we just talk on Skype or like Zoom or whatever.
Discord.
That's basically how me and our hosts, like whenever I'm playing with somebody online, we just talk on Zoom. Like we don't even bother. Like that's just how we do it. Or like when I was playing Monster Hunter with one of the other hosts, I just called them on the phone and we just talk like that.
Right.
through my Bluetooth headset or whatever, and that's
Right. It's kind of silly, but
not doing the voice
just
chat.
to think of them making software that's like going to be for this advanced hardware, advanced graphics on PC is just kind of laughable. Because Nintendo just does their own thing. They march to the own beat of their drums, and they like absolutely just make games for themselves and nobody else.
And I think that's why. So Steam Deck is being released, kind of by the end of February. A lot of people are going to get it, and a lot of people have been planning on turning their Steam Deck into a Switch Pro, so to say, and just designing it where they're emulating all of these Nintendo Switch games, and they're doing it, I guess, because they want to show Nintendo this is what happens if you have powerful hardware and graphics and stuff, and it's just like you kind of miss the point of why it is to play a Nintendo game on their console. It's not always about the artwork, it's kind of about, sometimes it's about the story, it's about the gameplay and everything. So if you bring it over, if you're spending all this money to play another platform's product, you kind of miss the purpose of what that initial product is for.
I think a great example of that is the Nintendo Switch Online is a service. It is there. It exists. But we just played through Ocarina of Time on it, and it was there's all the things that I remember were there. All the things that I've played the thousands of times, if not millions of times, that I've played through that game and different versions of it. To me, it's still the best on the N64. Why? Because that's what I grew up with. That is what it was designed for when it was built. That's what it plays best on. I haven't touched the 3DS version. I'm a weird one. I've just never done it. But I mean, playing it on the Switch was weird. I'm like, when I died, I saw a game over screen, and I'm like, what is this? I haven't seen this in years, because I'm so just ingrained in that that Trident controller, like with the C buttons, and like
right. The button mapping was tough to get used to with Ocarina of Time.
Oh, it was awful.
So I take it you didn't get the wireless 64 controller.
I haven't yet. It's on my wish list.
I've been trying to find it too.
I'm gonna get it soon. But
it's great. I have one. It's nice.
I have to have it before Majora's Mask. I have to.
Yeah.
But my point was just there is a way these games are made, and it can't be copied or replicated on any other platform, because they are intuitively made down to every last pixel, every last button press for Nintendo systems. And even a Nintendo system emulating a Nintendo game can't capture that same magic.
And to let everybody know, this is not a knock to the PC community or PC players or just the platform. Not a knock to them. I think when it comes to putting a game on PC, you kind of got to think about, the file size, the graphics card. There's so many things that you have to have in your PC in order to run a lot of these games. So even though you got a top tier PC, some people who do that for gaming just might have a top tier PC just to do Fortnite, or they may do it for Apex Legends. They're not doing it for like God of War or Until Dawn or Quantum Break. I mean, not Quantum Break, or Halo Infinite. Those games, people, they get them, and they're doing it more for the graphical the graphical part of the game. They're not doing it for the gameplay and stuff like there, because most times you see them, they're just like, look on how gorgeous this game looks on PC and how it runs. You never hear no one talking about the storyline. You're not talking about anything intuitive to it. It's just always, this is how it looks, and that's just for some players, not all PC players. And I think Nintendo is not part of that crowd, because they want you to enjoy the game. And still, like, a lot of us are still doing physical games on it. There is some people who do digital stuff, but like, just think of Nintendo remove their physical stuff just to do digital copies for games and everything. And if they start doing hardware and decided to go PC, like, what would happen in that time? Are people going to buy more PCs to play Nintendo games?
Nice.
Right.
Yeah, I think at the end of the day, like you said, Ed, money just kind of makes the world go round. They're not going to make as much money selling their stuff on Steam, because Valve is going to take a cut of it. It doesn't. I don't know. I don't really have more thoughts than just they make games for their own consoles and they want to sell their consoles.
Trey, any opinions? Any words? Anything?
On the PC? I mean, yeah. I agree. I agree with Dan for sure that, yeah, they make their stuff for themselves, and that's what's so great about them is they may be behind in some ways, but in other ways they're, they come out of nowhere with something like the Switch, and everybody's like, oh shit, we should have made one of those. Like, I feel like they're behind in some ways, but then they're also innovate like crazy in some other ways, and that's what I love about Nintendo. It's like with the Wii, it's like, oh, we're not going to do graphics, but here's this motion control thing, and everybody's like, what? Then everybody was trying to do that, so it's like,
and everybody's playing Wii bowling in the world.
Yeah, I want Nintendo to keep being Nintendo and keep making their weird console, handheld hybrid or whatever, and that's yeah, I prefer it that way. And yeah, like you were saying, you don't have to worry about your RAM or whatever for your computer. You can play whatever game comes out for the Nintendo system and just get it, and it's done. You don't gotta deal with all the PC upgrades and all that stuff. And I prefer it this way.
The only game that I could think of, and this is going to be my final point, and I'm going to ask you guys, what game would you, from Nintendo, if they were to put it on PC, what Nintendo game you think would fit the system? For me, it's definitely Fire Emblem. I think if they did a Fire Emblem game on PC, because it's strategy based, the old school Fire Emblems, not the new ones. Sure. I think the old ones. Put one old school permadeath hard as nail. Put the GameCube one on PC, and see how that does. Like, just kick people's tail with the old school Fire Emblem. That would be one game I could see Nintendo putting on PC. Trey, what one game would you see? Do you think you can see on PC for Nintendo?
I don't know, because I don't play PC at all. So I mean, my opinion on PC is like I said, I have an old ass computer. Like, I'm using like a 2011 Mac whatever laptop here. So my thoughts on PC are like, I don't care. Like, I was gonna say, if they're gonna put that GameCube Fire Emblem game out, like, please just put it on Switch so we can play it on Switch again. Like, who? I mean, that game's like selling for like over $100 used. So I mean, put it back on something so people can afford it. I have it, thankfully, but the Wii one, the sequel to that, is even more expensive. So yeah, if you're gonna put it out, put it back on the system. But yeah, no, I don't know. I don't know what would work good on PC. Like Mario Kart, I guess that would give them more for that. They already sold like millions of copies for Mario Kart 8. Like, you could put that on PC too, I guess. I mean,
you got the steering wheel, so
yeah, I'm not gonna play any of them on PC, so it doesn't really matter to me.
David, what one game you think will fit PC from Nintendo?
I'm gonna go with Metroid Prime. I'm gonna go with that first-person shooter experience. Whether you think it's an actual first-person shooter or not, but I think you up-res that to PC level graphics, and that's gonna make all the graphics people just lose their minds. And with the success of games like Halo that do exist already on PC, I think that's just a natural, easy step. One of the guys that hosts the Omega Metroid podcast, he has an emulated version of Metroid Prime on the PC, and he just raves about it. He's like, because he's a much bigger PC gamer than anything else, and he loves it on that, and he thinks it's like the best thing since sliced bread, and so I think you appeal to what's popular, the first person shooter vibe, and you give it that graphical facelift from the GameCube or the trilogy on the Wii. You up-res it to that. I think you've got a million copy seller on PC with Metroid Prime.
All right. Dan, what won the game you think Nintendo could put on PC?
I was gonna go with Bayonetta. I just like think of kind of like what David said, something that could be like a little more graphically enhanced, something that is a little bit on the more mature side for graphics and just basically the combat system. But like I've never really thought about it because it's just such a shot in the dark. But we get a couple of comments from the chat by saying, someone could see Shadowgate or Deja Vu being on the PC. Those point and click games would work well with the PC. And then Trey also says that they use their PS3 controller on their PC so they can play anything that doesn't need a special controller. Ed, what about you? What do you see on PC for Nintendo?
I actually could see, so outside of Fire Emblem, I actually could see Star Fox. It's actually Star Fox Zero.
That Star Fox would be a really good one.
That was my other thought.
Oh, you want Star Fox Zero, but it could control right and not like with the Wii remote.
Shade. I mean,
I bought that game. I would love to see that re-released on Switch with better controls. Like, cause I wanted to like it, but it was hard. They made it hard, very hard.
And they'll come out. That'll be the Star Fox racing game that was always rumored and never came out.
Yeah, I remember that.
Yeah, because like with the flight stick and everything, I think it would be so cool to use that. Because like you can't put like Rhythm Heaven on there. You can't put like Elite Beat Agents. Like you can't put a rhythm game from Nintendo on there. Because it's just like, how do I utilize things that's on PC, like accessories and stuff that could enhance the experience? Because that's the one thing, if you're going to do with a Nintendo game on PC, you want the experience to be enhanced and you want to feel different. Because if it doesn't feel different, then why even bother, in a sense. Like, so that kind of would have been Star Fox. So the Fire Emblem and Star Fox one. Anything else, guys? Or we ready to wrap this up for Dark Mode?
Put F-Zero on there just so I can see a new F-Zero game. Put that on PC because
F-Zero. Just
because I'm assuming
more F-Zero.
I love F-Zero and I would love to see somebody give a shit about it because it's aside from just having a couple races in Mario Kart 8 as DLC, it's like, come on, guys.
I could just
just re-release GX. That game was so good. The game.
I could see
bring that back in HD.
I can see GX coming and someone mod the game Wipeout in it. So it's just like all these kind of hyper racers all together in one thing. I could just see someone on PC just modding the crap out of it. And everything. Shoot, who knows? They'll probably turn Smash Brothers into a Monster Hunter collaboration. Like Samus being the mess out of one of the monsters and stuff.
Rathalos is in there already, kind of. You can't.
Yeah.
You can beat him up, but you can't play as.
Yes. So anyway, that's gonna be it for Dark Mode. Now it's time for Playing with Power. David, what have you been playing with Power?
Well, let's see here. Just a couple of weeks ago, I beat Metroid Dread. That was the word that I use to describe it is satisfying. I have always kind of sucked at 2D platformers. Metroidvanias have never really been great with me, but I was determined, like, this game is amazing. I know how long Metroid fans have waited for. I owe it to play this. I owe them to play this because I like Metroid. I love Metroid. Metroid inspired my non-Zelda novel series. The main character is literally just a carbon copy of Samus with a different hair color, basically. But so I'm like, I'm gonna play this game and I'm gonna beat it. I'm gonna do whatever I have to do to finally beat a 2D Metroid. And my God, it was just absolutely the most satisfying experience in a game I have felt in forever. Every time I achieved something, every time I get stuck, and then just to power through it, figure it out, take a step back, look at a guide a couple of times to be like, am I doing this right? Am I just totally missing something? Once I got through every hurdle, like, I mean, it felt so good. And when I beat it, I was just like, you know, I kept getting stuck, and I kept getting stuck, and I reached out to a buddy for some help, and as he was sending me messages for help, I got through it. I beat it, and I was just like, oh my god, I did it! I did it! And it was that game is just so satisfying. That if you struggle with games like that, try it, because when you achieve something in that, you feel like you've achieved something. I feel like it's weird to feel that from a game. Like, it's just been forever since I felt that. And so, I mean, that's the only Nintendo game I've been playing recently. My wife and I kind of go back and forth with Animal Crossing. She's done probably close to 70 houses now on the Paradise Planning. So, like, and I've done like,
just got there too. Yeah,
I've done like five or six, like, here or there. Like, there was like a horror themed hospital. I'm like, honey, you have to let me do that. They want a spooky hospital. Please let me do that. Like, I made the upstairs. There's just a chair with some blood around it and a single light bulb hanging over it. And I'm like, yeah. But, you know, and I was mentioning to Ed just before, you know, over on my PS4, I just started playing Tales of Arise about a week ago. I'm loving that. The first night, it overheated my PS4, which was a whole new thing. So we started doing the turn it sideways in the entertainment center. Like, it's more air through there.
That's what started happening to my PS4.
Well, like, I could tell, like, well, this game's really pushing my PS4 to the limits. And this is a new entertainment center that we got, and it's a little narrower space where the PS4 is sitting. And I'm like, as soon as like I tried to walk into an area, and it just brought up this blue screen that says the PlayStation 4 is overheating. Oh, gets up and turns it. I'm like, we're gonna let it sit for a minute.
That intro to that game is still so good. That theme music.
Oh my gosh, yeah, I have to let it play every day. Like, every day I'm playing, I'm like, all right, I'm gonna shut the game off. It goes back to that screen. I'm like, I'm just gonna let it sit for a minute. I can let that play.
Yes. All right, Dan.
So, you good, Ed?
Yeah, I thought somebody was saying something, so that's why.
All right. Yeah, I finished. So I finished Paper Mario on the NSO expansion pack. That game is a blast. It just holds up so well, surprisingly. Yeah, I'm really happy with the expansion pass. I love the N64 games that are on it. I've probably already gone about 55 hours out of games on that. Yeah, so it's been good to me. Picross S7 came out last week. I have been obviously playing that one hard. Once that one's over, I only have Picross S5, and then I don't know what I'm gonna do. So once I'm out of Picross games, and then there's been a lot of like hype over Captain Toad on my timeline since they had the free demo this week.
Yeah.
There's only like 6 days left, so gotta get on.
Yeah, there's only a couple days left. So if you haven't played, actually, by the time you hear this, it'll be done. But I love that game so much. But I've played it through, completed all the books twice, so I'm kind of done with it. So I ended up picking up a game that I played a little bit on Apple Arcade, but I don't like the touchscreens. But it was on sale for $5 on Switch. Was The Last Campfire, and this is like it's kind of like Captain Toad in that sense, where you have the diorama puzzles. It is so good. I recommend that to anybody who just played Captain Toad, liked it, and needs a little bit more. So that's a really, really good one to try.
Yeah, I finished it on Xbox One, The Last Campfire. These are the developers who did what is the space game that's out there? Not No More Heroes.
No Sky?
No Man's Sky. Yeah.
What? Really?
Yeah.
That's interesting.
They are developers of it. So yeah, sorry, I was thinking of No More Heroes. That's what's just like, no, it's not No More Heroes. It's No More Sky. Yeah, The Last Campfire is so good. It's such a great story, in it. Is that all, Dan?
Yeah, that's all for me. I had a light week.
All right. Trey, what have you been playing with Power?
What's up? Oh, all right. So I've been trying to catch up on stuff that I didn't have time to beat like last year, you know, so I'm kind of
Mhm.
playing through a lot of my favorite or some of the stuff that was on my list. Was actually I did pretty good this year. I beat like 70% of my top 10 2021 lists. So there's only a couple games on there that I haven't completed, but I've been playing actually since I've been quarantined at home with my wife, we've been playing a lot of Mario Golf Super Rush, which
Oh,
she
nice.
likes that game a lot, and I like that game a lot too. It's one of those things that I felt like it got a lot of shit when it came out because it wasn't completed, but with all the DLC they've added to it, I think it's great. Like with the ranked mode and how you can unlock the different skins for the characters every month and all that. I think it's a great game. Like and they added a whole bunch of extra courses and extra characters and we play online with her brother and his wife as well, so it's been kind of our go-to game lately. So we've been rocking a lot of Mario Golf.
I
And
play it a lot. It's a great game.
yeah, I saw a lot of people like dogging on it, and I'm like, no, it's good. And I'm like, just give it time. It'll get the DLC, and it did. And I was just playing it last night, and I was like, you know what, this game is great. Like, and I don't do, but granted, I guess I didn't do all the extra stuff. Like, I don't do speed golf. Like, I don't do any of that.
No,
I just play
me
like
either.
slow ass golf, as I call it, just the regular slow ass golf. You take turns, and it's like super chill and super relaxing, and that's how I like to play it. But
Regular golf does not work with a 6-year-old. Let me tell you that. You need the speed golf and the battle golf.
I mean, it's I'm glad that people enjoyed it. It's for me. I was just like, nah, don't need it. I just want the regular Mario Golf that I've been playing for years, and it's nice that you can play online now and get all that extra stuff and all that. So we've been playing that. Also, I've been working on Shin Megami Tensei 5 because that was like my favorite game of the year.
Nice.
Because it's been in development for the Switch since the very beginning. It was shown at the very first video presentation for the Switch, and I've been all about that, and I always wanted to like get into the Shin Megami Tensei series and all that stuff. And last year was like the year I did that. I played a lot of 3. I even played Megami Tensei 1 on NES. I bought like a translated Famicom, Super Famicom version of it that I played, and I played SMT4 as well. And I also bought like SMT4 Apocalypse was on sale on 3DS, so I bought that also. And
Nice.
yeah, I've just been really enjoying the game. And SMT5, I was playing it last night, and it's better than Pokemon, man. I think it's a better game than Pokemon. Like, for anybody who's tired of Pokemon and thinks Pokemon's way too easy, play Shin Megami Tensei 5. It's a better game. You have to talk to the demons to get them to join you. You have to figure out how to like trick them into joining your side and all that. And you can only have so much at a certain time. But if you like fuse them and you want to get them back, you can buy them back through the Demon Compendium and all that. It's just great. Like once you get into it, I think it's really, really cool. Like, and I'm still having a blast with it. And I think it looks great, like on the system. And the hair,
How far into it are you?
the beautiful blue hair is great. I'm about 30 hours into it.
Yeah,
know-
I just
I
finished
know it's
it.
like 100 hours long or something, and it's pretty.
I think I finished it in about 65 or 70 hours.
Oh, okay.
Well, that was like total gameplay, but I got bodied so many times that I probably had like the Switch
That's
said
the
I
game,
played
yeah.
it for 90 hours, and then the game file said I played for 70. So,
Sure.
yeah,
I got killed a bunch of times. That's part of the game, though. You
yeah.
gotta save like crazy, which once you get the ability to automatically go back to your save, it really helps. But yeah, you just got to be careful because you never
Are
know
you in the
where somebody's going to show up out of nowhere and just destroy you in a couple hits or
which
one hit.
exploration area are you in? Are you in the second or third?
I think I don't know. I don't know exactly which one it is. I was in the area. I just beat Neon, Nionn, the guy with the sword who was like the demon of the girl from your class.
Yeah.
That was like the last story-based thing that I did.
Gotcha.
But I've been like trying to do all of the side quests and catch and find all the min men and all that stuff. So
yeah,
I'm
that's
taking
what I
it
do
slow.
too.
I take my RPG slow as hell. So I mean, I'll probably end up playing it for like 100 hours or something like that whenever I finish it. But
For
I like
sure.
to. I don't like to speed through things, especially for SMT. You kind of have to take the time and build up your characters and all that stuff.
Yeah.
So
Oh, for sure.
yeah.
All right. For me, I started up Christ Tales. This is like a indie game that you are in the present, but you also have the past and the future along with you. For the level. It's an RPG. Looks really beautiful. Like I said, I just started, so I haven't really got into any battles or anything. I just literally firstly got to a save point, so I'm happy about that. Replaying Captain Toad Treasure Tracker through the free game trial. Just love this game. And it's so funny and everything. Picked up a game called Gun Nail from the arcade archives. This is by Tecmo. It's a game I've never heard of or never seen. It's a vertical 2D shooter. I just beat it like the day that I brought it, so like last Thursday. It only
I can't
takes you
believe there's a game that you've never heard of.
yeah, that's
A
that's
lot
the
of
thing.
possible.
Yeah, that's the thing I love about Nintendo Switch and even NSO. When there are literally games that's been in Japan that no one in America knows about, like it's never been previewed, it hasn't been talked about in GamePro or EGM. You don't see like your friends or even strangers even talking about it. A lot of that stuff that comes to America is for the first time, and people just like, wait a minute, they did this. And you just literally be shocked that the games that's been in Japan that just never got mentioned or anything, they show up in America. Like I've never known Tecmo to do any shoot 'em ups at all. This is the first one that I seen them that they ever done. So playing it and beating it was just like, man, that was an experience, and it was kicking my tail. It is a bullet hell kind of game. I'm like, wow. Super Smash Brothers Ultimate. Started doing the spirit board again, trying to unlock stuff, playing as Ryu, getting my tail beat, but like just enjoying that game. A little bit of Chasm I was playing. And now then, are you ready for this one?
Oh boy.
Eternal Radiance.
Oh, how is it?
It is some janky nonsense.
Really?
Did you buy it when it was on sale for like $2 or something? I saw it was like heavily discounted for a minute.
It just came to Switch. So
Oh, okay.
I just
That's a different one then.
Yeah, so I just brought it on Switch. This is kind of like a indie action RPG kind of thing. They talk too much. It is a lot of dialogue, and I was just skipping part of the story and everything. I'm just like, I want to get in. Dan, it took me almost 2 hours before I even got to do any of the role playing game.
What?
That's how much. That's how long the talking was. And this is not cutscene stuff. This is actual dialogue boxes. And I'm just like,
Man.
oh,
Oh.
you got to be kidding me. Because you can't. It's like almost like a visual novel at some parts, and you just like you're watching it. It doesn't have auto scrolling for the dialogue. So you can skip everything and go on, but you miss the story. You miss the narrative of what they're gonna say. So I'm just like, I got to get through a lot of this stuff because it's very JRPG. When I finally got into actually doing all of the fighting, the only sound effects you hear is you as your character swinging the sword. There are no grunts from the enemies. You don't even say a yata. You don't say no sound effects. And it was just like, oh my goodness, this is so basic. And the camera moves around, which affects your gameplay because you'll be fighting some enemies and they're not, and there's other enemies that's on screen that you can't see. So you can get hit. And so while you're fighting them, the camera moves and you're not even pressing the right stick for the camera. You could do lock on targeting, but it's just like, wow, I understand this is independent, but y'all spent money on the dialogue localization and this wannabe Japanese anime. Because the gameplay portion of it is questionable content at times. And so I'm like, I went in hoping that this game would, because I love action JRPGs. I was hoping that this game would be satisfying. I'm going to stick with it. I'm going to finish it because I don't know how long it is. but man, it is some janky mess. It's very average if I had to rate it. Like I would give it maybe 3 Yoshi coins out of 5 if I had to rate this.
Well, 3 out of 5 is not horrible.
It's not horrible.
But man, that's a big disappointment. I really had my eye on that game, and I was actually thinking about picking it up after I finished Last Campfire. So I'll wait to hear back from you.
Yes. So that's pretty much what I've been playing at this time because Pokemon Legend comes out next week, so we'll probably be talking a little bit of that later on in February. But yeah, that's pretty much what I've been playing with Power. And everybody, that's pretty much the episode. I want to thank you, David. I want to thank you, Trey, for joining us. David, go ahead and plug. Where can people find you?
So you can look for my stuff, obviously, over on ZeldaDungeon.net. But if you're more interested in my my Zelda story, The Arrow Without a Hero, you can follow either me on Twitter at DaveWayne09, or literally all you care about is my Zelda story. You can follow me at Zelda Tewa, which is Zelda and then capital TEWAH, which is just the acronym for The Arrow Without a Hero. Other than that, I do have a website for it. I just haven't updated it in forever, so I'm not going to bother plugging that. But yeah, just Zelda Tewa and my Twitter are my most active places that you can find me.
All right, Trey, where can we find you at?
I followed you also, David, on Twitter.
I followed you back.
Nice. Yeah, I was gonna say, I'm sure we'll talk to you about NintenDomain stuff in the future and all that. Definitely love to talk to you on there. Yeah, for NintenDomain, like I said, if you Google NintenDomain, you'll find a bunch of stuff on there. On Twitter, I'm Nintendo_domain. That's my Twitter name. I like to put up a lot of 30-second videos from Nintendo Switch games that let you do that, and do stuff like that. Of course, if you ever want to see me stream or whatever, I'll post it on there. The Twitch channel is twitch.tv/NintenDomain podcast. Also, we have youtube.com/NintenDomain podcast as well. If you want to see, I actually recorded all of the songs from KK Slider for Animal Crossing. You can see all of them live at the Residence Center and all that stuff. And plus, I just put up a video of my top 10 games of last year of the 2021 list, so you can check that out as well on there. And yeah, we also have a Patreon, patreon.com/NintenDomain podcast. We do a bonus episode every week, and I think it's like $1 to hear that. Plus, you'll get the regular show like 12 hours in advance, and plus extra stuff and all that. And we have videos and extra shit on there, even like some physical stuff that we'll make for you if you go high enough on it. And there's some merch for some of the higher levels as well. So check that out.
Cool.
All right. And then where can we find you at?
You can find me on Twitter at DCDM99, and you can see all of our articles on www.bossrush.net, where I am a copy editor.
Yes, and you guys can find me on Twitter at ThatRetroCode. You can check out my work also at bossrush.net. And also, everybody, we have a Patreon. You can go to www.patreon.bossrushgays. I'm sorry, everybody. I got to get it together and everything. But yeah, we do have a Patreon. Just go to bossrush.net and you can check out our Patreon there and find out what kind of tiers is suitable for you guys. Also want to thank you, Jacob, for producing. Do go check out Laurent's article at bossrush.net and check out Crossroads on Tuesday, Exodus 803 on Twitch and on his YouTube channel. But then everybody, have a great week, have a great weekend, and we will see you next time on Nintendo Pow Block. Bye, everybody. Woohoo!
Bye.